Now we're going to be tying a heather fly. Now the heather fly is a terrestrial fly that gets blown onto the lochs and the rivers in the UK. Now it's mainly in the lochs that we find this fly, and when they're on the water the fish really go for them. There's really it looks like a hawthorn in a way, except that the legs have actually got like an orange bar, ready orange bar in the centre, and it's very distinct, and you do see it, and the fish recognise it. They do see the colour. So there's different ways of getting that colour. So this is one of the flies that I tie. Tie quite a lot actually. So good size fly it is. It's a size 10. You could tie it in 10s and 12s. It will still work, but the 10's the main size. Thread I'm going to be using is the uni thread in black and 8/0. But just start at the eye, put down a layer of thread. Now at this point I remove the waste and I tie in some pearl. Now this is the Uni-Mylar pearl number 14, which is equivalent to a medium size tinsel. You could use a small or a number 16, it's up to yourself. Now tie this on the way down. Just bring the thread to basically in line with the barb of the hook. And you get some dubbing. In this case it's some black seal's fur. You could use SLF or something similar. Just lightly dub that onto the thread. Just slide it up. Get it started, and then we just dub the way up and tighten up when we need to and get some sort of shape. Just build up the body a wee bit. This is about 2/3 of the way up. And then I'm going to bring the pearl rib through between, basically. You'll see it obviously with the fur, it sits into the fur slightly. You want it nice and tight and close to the shank. You don't want it sitting too high. It's a heavy dub body, it will sit above the dubbing and it's more likely to get pulled off. If it's nice and tight, it will sit and last far longer. Now to give the impression of the centre of the legs, I'm going to use some hot orange seal's fur. Now what I'm going to do is just form like a ball of it, just at this point. So it's not too tight, it's reasonably loose in a way so that you can get some depth into it and just form like a ball of seal's fur, or a ball of dubbing. And then I'm going to bring out some of the fibres using some velcro all the way around. There we are. For the legs I'm using the pre-knotted legs, pheasant tail legs in black. And these are from Veniers now, looking for 3 either side. So just bring them 90 degrees from the stem of the feather, the tips should line up. Take them off. Just going to run my fingers through, tighten up the knots, because sometimes they're a bit open. So as I say, 3 either side of the body. This is a good midge pattern as well as a good heather fly pattern. So you can use it all through the season in different sizes. Just take away. You can see I'll show you the legs now. Just put wax on the thread at this point. The legs are basically on the side, the top side, and on the sides, not underneath. It's up to yourself. You can put them underneath if you wish, but with terrestrial, more likely to be on the surface. It doesn't want to be there, so. But anyway, you can drown the fly as well, meaning pull it below the surface, it will still take. The underwing of the fly, I'm using some dyed black CDC. So I've got a couple of feathers here, to medium size black. Now I just lay one on top of the other. Make sure they've lined up, the natural curve going with the hook. So the underside of the feathers and facing the hook itself. Just slightly to the back of the hook, and then we tie these in. Tie them on the top. 3 or 4 turns to secure. Then we can trim away the waste. You can always keep these ends and remove. You can use that as dubbing. It's a great dubbing. Now I'm just going to put wax on the thread and make sure the CDC is well tied in. I'm just going to put a wee tiny bit of dubbing here, just to, the distance we're there about maybe 2 mil or so from the eye. I just like to put a bit of dubbing there, just the black, and then draw it back till we've got sort of just slightly longer than the head, sort of standard head for the size of fly in here. I'm fine with that. Then I'm going to use some natural roe deer. It's a natural roe deer. It gives impression of the wing. It gets tied much like an elk hair caddis. You could use probably elk, that would work as well. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stack it. So I'm going to put it tips first into the stacker, tap it on my desk, and you see how the tips have lined up. And then we're looking just slightly longer than the black, just slightly there. So what we do then is we come over, tighten up with 2 or 3 more turns, and then these cut ends we're just going to open them and get the thread turns through it and work our way down towards the eye. So lock them in, always keeping the thread nice and tight. 3 or 4 turns or more in front just to lock it all in. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to varnish the thread and then whip finish, and this will lock in the whip finish. Just hold everything out the way at this point. 4 or 5 turns, trim away with thread. A wee bit of dubbing going forward there, so I'm just going to trim that away. Not make much difference that, but then the cut ends we're going to, much like an elk hair caddis, you can either tidy this right up, take it away, or you can, as I say, much like an elk hair caddis, you can trim this round about 2 mil off the front of the head of the fly. So we just at an angle, use the angle of the eye to get the angle that you want to cut it. Just nice straight cut, and there we are. And it's a great pattern. It's a nice style. It could be tied many colours. I've tied it all colours, same pattern, same style anyway. And there we are. And that's a good heather fly pattern. Yeah, you can use it in the cast with other flies. You can use it itself. It's entirely up to you. As I say, it's a good midge pattern as well. You can get away with. I mean, that style works even for as a good caddis pattern, the sedge. It's up to you. I was shorting the legs a wee bit, but it still works. But anyway, that's the heather fly. So I hope you enjoyed it.